Hola, bienvenido. Here are 7 questions to ask before booking a Spanish course with a language school. With these questions, you should be able to determine if a school can back up its promises and give you a high-value and effective learning experience. Question 1. How do you hire and train your instructors? This will help you determine the professionalism of the school's teachers. What you should look for. First, they should have a well-defined process for pre-screening teaching applicants. Candidates should meet educational and experience requirements before even being considered for the job. The school should recruit publicly and open its applications far beyond its circle of friends. Second, the school should rely heavily on student feedback as it evaluates its teachers. Students want to learn the language and will be happy to let the school know who is and isn't helping them reach their goals. Third, there should be a clear system of continual teaching improvement. The school should have a defined process of teacher training, including introducing new methods and sharing best practices. As for what to beware of, if the school only makes vague references to teacher qualifications, such as they are highly qualified or we have great teachers, they might actually have low standards, if any. Question 2. In what neighborhood is the school located? This will help you determine the safety and comfort of the surrounding area. Some things you should look for. 1. A neighborhood in a residential but central zone. An upper-middle-class urban residential neighborhood generally has a nice mix of attractiveness and convenience without being too busy. 2. Convenience to public transport. Although residential, you will still want easy access to public transportation. If you are in a large city, a metro stop should be within a few blocks. 3. The area should be desirable for locals to live in. As always, locals generally know best. If the neighborhood is considered one of the most desirable to live in, chances are it will be a great place to study as well. On the other hand, you might want to avoid a location in a downtown or tourist zone. While that might look good on a map, such areas are usually very busy, in the case of downtown, or home to pickpockets and scam artists, in the case of a tourist zone. Neither case would be comfortable for an everyday experience. Question 3. What credentials and awards does your Spanish institute have? This should help you determine the school's reputation in the language world. What you should look for. First, membership in professional associations. Since membership usually includes proof of good standing, this is verification that, at the very least, the institute is real. Second, an award or awards from an independent source. Winning an award within the language school world is a good signal the school has happy clients. Third, you should look for the ability to receive college credit. Even if receiving college credit isn't one of your requirements, this usually shows the school's curriculum and teachers have been inspected by an accredited university. And something to beware of. The school mentions they have numerous credentials without mentioning organization names or awards. Ask for specifics that can be verified. Question 4. What is your course structure and student placement? This should help you determine how organized the school is in its classes and how well they measure and ensure student progress. Some things you should look for. 1. A clear process to measure a student's initial level. Getting placed in the correct level is obviously very important, and a quality school will have a thorough process to make sure you are correctly assessed. 2. Requirements to advance through levels. A proper institute will make sure you pass quizzes, oral and/or written, to advance to the next level. Often, a student's best path will be to repeat a level to gain a firmer baseline, rather than be rushed through the program. 3. Look for a defined structure of daily classroom routine. This is an often overlooked area of teaching effectiveness. A school with a well-defined structure is better at keeping students progressing than one with a more relaxed, spontaneous approach. And finally, you should be aware of lack of methods to measure progress. If you are advanced through levels, whether or not you have acquired sufficient skill, there is a good chance you will be lost at higher levels. Make sure the school is strict about letting you advance only when you are ready. Question 5. Why do you cost more or less than another school? This will help you determine if a school is a good value or if it is simply overpriced. Here are some things to look for. First, the school can point to specific points of difference, which might include school neighborhood, class size, teaching staff, or other areas of difference between schools. Second, another positive is more experience. A school with many years of experience will often cost more than a newer school, as its expertise and track record have earned it a premium. Third, compliance with international standards. Similar to experience, meeting international quality standards will cause a school to incur higher costs and justify a higher price. On the other hand, you should be aware of their higher price is only vaguely explained by statements like, "because we're better," or other empty claims. If they are higher priced, they should have very specific reasons why. Question 6. How do you select student accommodations? Similar to the earlier question on teacher selection, this question helps you determine the school's professionalism in delivering its non-class services, in this case, housing. Some things you might look for include: first, a well-defined method to pre-screen housing. If a school has strict parameters as to what it will and will not accept, you can be confident they will keep searching until something meets its requirements. Second, heavy reliance on student evaluations. Similar to teacher evaluations, student feedback on housing ensures that the hosts continue to give good service and that the school does not favor its friends. Third, the ability to change housing in the case of a bad placement. Despite a school's best efforts, it is inevitable that mistakes will be made. However, a quality institute will be able to quickly fix a situation with a new placement. And you should be aware of placement in unsafe neighborhoods. This is obvious. However, unfortunately, some schools will save money by assigning students to housing in low-rent areas. This could ruin your overall experience. Question 7. What is your refund and payment policy? This question should help you determine if the school is reasonable as far as financing goes. You should look for 1. A small deposit to secure a course. We recommend that the deposit does not exceed 1 week of costs. 2. The ability to change dates for a small fee. Your plans may and often do change. While you can't expect a school to let you continually make changes, a simple date change for a small fee is reasonable. Third, the option to transfer funds to a partner school. If you decide you need a change of scenery, it is important to be able to transfer your prepaid funds to a different location. And be sure to avoid anywhere with no refund for cancellations. You never know what will come up, and you may need to cancel your trip before you even start. A school should refund everything except the deposit, which is generally non-refundable. Muchas gracias por escucharnos. While you will certainly have questions of your own, these 7 questions should help you determine if a particular language school is for you. Adiós.